Boom! Surprise! Also, I goofed it. I'm gonna have to maneuver everything slightly. Wait. No. There we go. It took a little bit. I wasn't prepared today. I should have been, but I wasn't. Oopsie. My bad. Yeah, hello. It's been a minute. It has been a hot minute. Mainly because I was not feeling great. I wasn't feeling great. And now I'm feeling better. It just took like 3 days to not feel like garbage anymore. But we're here, we're queer, and so is Ace Attorney. Ace Attorney is equally as queer, if not more so, than it was the last time we played. And why do I keep... Weird. I don't know why that was a thing. Yeah, so what we're gonna do today is we're gonna get back to Ace Attorney Chronicles, the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. And we're gonna try and avenge our boy for today. Yep, we're gonna try and avenge him, our boy, today. So, I guess like a quick recap. I don't think it's going to go through like a whole recap of how things have gone so far. So, we did the tutorial 2 weeks ago. the tutorial case, which was just kind of getting acquainted to how stuff in court is going to work. And then we jumped into our first official adventure investigation case of the game, which is the adventure of the Unbreakable Speckled Band. And we did talk about the Sherlock Holmes original story that featured the Speckled Band, which was the case of the Speckled Band. And we talked about how in that original case, the cause of death was a venomous snake that had wrapped itself around the arm of the dead person, and that's what happened. They died because of poison, and it was the snake. And from what we uncovered, the person who has been killed in this case is our good friend Kazuma, and we were very sad, and we investigated a bit, and we found out that there was an escaped assassin from Russia and a abducted ballerina, and we found the ballerina disguised as the person in the adjacent room on the boat that we were traveling on, and she has a suspicious case in her room, a suspicious something, and within that something there is a moving creature. And we think that that is a pet that she smuggled aboard the boat that she's not supposed to have, because there is a strict rule against having pets and dangerous objects on the boat. And if my theory is correct, there is a snake in there. We haven't seen it yet. Can't be confirmed. Can't be denied. Schrodinger's snake in this case. So what we're going to do is we're going to finish this investigation. I don't know how much is left. I've never played this, so don't ask me. I have no idea. But we're going to be doing the rest of the adventure of the Unbreakable Speckled Band, and figuring out what all has to be done to solve the case, and all that good. It's a good time. We're gonna get into it in a short second. We're gonna do that. Just making sure that everything is good to go, so that when I swap over, it's not just a mess, because you just don't want it to be a mess. But I think we're good. I think we're all set and ready to rumble. So let's get on over there. Ta-da! We did it. It's not broken. I'm also going to check sound. Cool. That's perfect, I think. Yep. Nice. Let's get right into it, shall we? Episode 2, The Adventure of the Unbreakable Speckled Band. Let's go. Actually, I'm going to double save just in case I missed it. And then we're just going to get right into it. 9th of January. SS Borea, first class cabin passageway. I wish we hadn't been thrown out like that. I wish we'd managed to find some clue as to what that speckled band might be. We didn't manage to investigate at all. And I imagine that we won't be able to for a while longer. We'll never get past that sailor guarding the door. He's clearly glaring at us as if to say, don't even think about it. Oh, wait a minute! What is it? Well, what happened to our great detective friend? Where did he go? Oh, yes, he completely disappeared. When did he do that? He slipped away as quietly as the wind, but not before ensuring these were securely back on my wrists. Okay, so let's do some investigating, shall we? Anything changed? Can I go out this door? That door leads to the second class area. It's locked. I can't open it. No, well, that stands to reason. No one wants to let the murderer escape. Uh-oh. Gosh, she gave me a very stern look when she said that. Alrighty. Let's check here. That book on top of the table there is really huge. There's a pen with it, too. Yes, I'm sure that's the ship's log. Shall we have a little look through it? The writing is so neat and precise. Every detail about the voyage has been meticulously recorded. You wouldn't expect a rough and ready sailor to have such beautiful handwriting. Anyway, look here. Last night's log is mostly blank. Presumably, that means there was nothing to report. Interesting. Time to avenge my mans. We're gonna avenge him. That's not even a right word. We're gonna avenge him, I promise. I really wish we had a chance to look around in Miss Pavlova's cabin. What? Why do you look like that? Found something? Maybe. You want me to throw you out again? Oh, no, definitely not that. Next time I have to throw you out, I show you where lobsters spend winter. Understand? Understand. Cool. Maybe I should steer clear of him until he's forgotten my face. I don't think he'll ever forget your face, Naruhodo-san. Well, gee, thanks. I guess we can go back into the room. First class cabin number 1. Yes, that's our cabin. Not our cabin. It's Kazuma-sama's. Sorry? Your accommodation is confined to the wardrobe inside the cabin. You know how to make a stowaway feel small, don't you? As small as the wardrobe I've been calling home. Anyway, I wonder if Inspector Hosonaga managed to uncover any new clues. Yes, we should probably find him and ask. Cool. Let us move to our cabin. I miss him. I miss him too. Also, why are y'all screaming? 9th of January, SS Buria, first class cabin number 1. It looks like they're still investigating in here. Yes, on that subject. I wonder if Inspector Hosonaga is unscathed. What do you mean, unscathed? Surely you haven't forgotten, have you, Naruhodo-san? Don't you remember what he said about allowing you out of this cabin to investigate? He was going to talk to the captain about it. He said he'd lay his life on the line for you. Oh, yes. But I'm sure he was exaggerating. Let's see what he has to say for himself. He might have some new information for us. You never know. Is he in here? Oh, he is. Hello. Oh, God, no! Oh, no! My man! Oh, Sonaga, no! I love him! Oh, no, I'm so sorry. Ah, you're back. Inspector! What happened to you? Your face is... Please, don't worry about it. Oh, no, Hosonaga! They're just scratches. Made by a bear, maybe? When I told the captain that I'd given you permission to investigate, he told me he'd pummel me with his fists and then toss me overboard. What? But the pummeling was over in a flash, and he must have decided against throwing me overboard. So it was nothing, really. It looks like he wasn't joking when he said he'd lay his life on the line if he had to. Well, thanks to your efforts, we now know a little about the neighboring cabin. Yes, so I understand. Oh. I bumped into a man claiming to be a great detective a little while ago. I think his name was something like Herr Lock Sholmes. I don't think he was German, though. Ah, that explains it. Shall we compare notes, then? We can tell you what we found out. Yes, let's do it. Oh, I love him! He's so cute! Cabin next door. What? Nikolina Pavlova? She's in the cabin next door? Oh, do you know who she is? Please, what self-respecting ballet fan wouldn't know that graceful angel? Oops, I think I upset him there. Well, that tells us the neighboring cabin is unrelated to the case, at least. Oh, how? Because angels don't go around committing crimes, do they? He and Gumshoe should be friends. They should. Also, I want to figure out why everyone's screaming. Why is everyone just going ape? Oh. Never mind. Oops, now I've definitely upset him. Inspector, has your investigation in here proved fruitful? If I'm honest, there's very little more I can do. Our duty is to make sure the scene isn't disturbed, ready to hand over to the Hong Kong police. So I'm just keeping watch here, trying not to take my eyes off the job. Oh, I see. But there is one thing. I do have a small piece of new information for you. Oh, what? Yes, do tell us, Inspector. Please. What is this new information you have, Inspector? It's this. The Bureau's medical officer has finished his examination of the body. I managed to obtain a report. Oh, Kazuma's post-mortem report? Kazuma-sama. So, what was the cause of death? Damage to the cervical vertebrae is what's written in the report. His neck was broken? Yes, it would seem so. There were no obvious wounds or other signs of injury. So at first, I think they were considering poison. But it turns out they found no trace of poison in his system at all. Well, what weapon was used then? Nothing has been found as yet. But the fact that there are no signs of a wound suggests it may have been a blunt object, something that wouldn't leave a mark. Oh, I see. All the body's nerves run through the spine to the brain. A strong enough impact to the neck could induce death. It is a possibility, and no obvious wound would be left. Poor Kazuma. I have a second copy of the report. If it might be useful, you're welcome to have it. Really? Are you sure? Yes, it's fine. I trust you. Oh, he's so good! After all, if I didn't trust you, I'd never have agreed to you leaving this cabin in the first place, would I? The post-mortem report has been entered into the court record. Oh, I love you. I love him so much. He's so good. Oh, Mr. Sholmes was here, was he? Yes. He seemed to be enjoying himself a little too much as he crept about the floor investigating. But then he suddenly left. I suppose he must have become bored. I want to give Hosonaga a hug. He looks like he could use a good hug. Did he say anything at all? Actually, now you mention it, yes. Just one thing, but he practically shouted it. It's shoe polish, was all he said. Shoe polish? I wonder what he meant. It was when he was over there, by the piece of broken glass, do you see? Ah, perhaps he was talking about this brick-colored mark, do you think? Yes, that must be it. But how could Mr. Sholmes know that it's shoe polish? That leaves me cold, I'm afraid. I have no idea. What is it, Susato-san? Well, Kazuma-sama was wearing leather shoes with a very dark tan hue. Dark tan? A sort of dark brownish red, then? Yes, a little like the color of red wine, but darker. I often repaired them for him. Oh, does this mean that this mark was made by the polish on Kazuma's shoes as they scuffed on the floor? The mark on the floor has been entered into the court record. That's really all I can tell you at this stage. I should return to my post. A fellow crewman's eyes are boring into the back of my head. Yes, that might be for the best. Thank you. Poor Inspector. You look exhausted. Oh, no. Well, I feel terrible that I failed to protect Asogi-san. He was my responsibility. Of course, my pain is nothing compared to yours. You were his friend. The truth is, I seem to have had a heavy head ever since I woke this morning. A heavy head? That's interesting. My head's still throbbing too. Okay, let's investigate this again. This is where Kazuma spent his final moments, writing his diary. Okay. I can hear a faint whistling sound. 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. Looking at his writing here on this page, it's almost impossible to believe that he's gone. Kazuma-sama left us a valuable clue in these words, I'm sure of it. We have to solve this mystery, Naruhodo-san. We will. Okay, what else haven't we looked at? So it's clear that these letters were written with the ink that was somehow spilled on the floor, and they spell the Russian word for wardrobe. It does seem to be an unambiguous pointer to you, Naruhodo-san, as you were sleeping in there. But to be truly unambiguous, it should have just spelt out my name, don't you think? Well, either way, one fact remains. It's hard to imagine that Kazuma-sama would have written his last words, or word, in Russian. Which begs the question of who did write it. This guy. You. Where did you go? Oh, sorry, I just went to the next door cabin to Why? Who gave you permission for this? Well, Seaman Hosonaga did. That no Japanese, was it? Later I will roll him into ball and throw him in cold room. Okay, cool, whatever. Phew, he's come back to guarding the door. I hope Inspector Hosonaga doesn't find himself in too much trouble on our account. He's really gone out of his way to help us, hasn't he? When we get back to Japan, we'll have to take him for a steak at La Carnival. That could be a very long time from now, Naruhodo-san. Alright, anything else? Anything else? Anything else? The scuff. It really is such a beautiful color, this glass. It looks like whatever it was is broken clean in two, but the other half is nowhere to be seen. And then there's this brick-colored mark, which is shoe polish, according to that great detective you seem to know all about. I suppose it must be from Kazuma-sama's shoes. Maybe. But what I'd like to know is, how can the detective be so sure that it's shoe polish and not something else? Because he's a great detective, of course. That's hardly a reason, is it? Okie dokie. These are the rules of passage for travel aboard the SS Borea. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. So, by bringing her pet on board, Miss Pavlova has broken the rules. She called it her friend, didn't she? Yes, although we don't know what form this friend takes as yet. I'm almost certain that whatever it is, it's inside the traveling case in her cabin. Friend. There's more to this than it seems, I think. Alright. All the books provided for passengers occupying this cabin, neatly arranged on the shelf. They were all over the place when we first looked around, if you remember. Oh yes, you tidied them up, didn't you? You have to look after the ship's property. Unruly behavior in the cabins leads to damage. But it really wasn't me who knocked them over. Well, anyway, I feel much better now that they're neatly lined up. I can't relax when things are untidy. There's not much we can do here. Huh. 9th of January. SS Buria First Class Cabin Passageway. Ah, look, Naruto-san. Seaman Stroganov is gone. Strong enough? The burly Russian sailor who's always crossing his arms and glaring at us? All these Russian names are impossible to remember. Tra-la-la? Did you hear that? It sounded like someone singing. Tra-la-la, lira-lira-lay. Oh my god, I did it the Great Detective way! This stupid idiot. This stupid idiot. Also, let me fix this. Because the sound isn't working. There we go. Bimbo Sholmes is back. Well, never mind that now. This is a golden opportunity for us. Yes, you're right. We must seize it. Let's get inside Miss Pavlova's cabin while we can and investigate. Definitely. Before that stringy knot crewman comes back. It's Stroganov, not stringy knot. I'm trying, alright? Ninth of January. SS Buria First Class Cabin 13. Oh, they're closing there now. Miss Pavlova isn't back yet. Susato-san. Oh, where's she gone? Hey, what are you doing? Those are her private things. There's not a moment to waste, Naruhodo-san. We must investigate as quickly as we can. I suppose you're right, for Kazuma's sake. Not just for Kazuma-sama. What do you mean? It can't be long now until we arrive at port, in Hong Kong. I don't want you to be in those handcuffs when we get there. Really? We must solve this case, Naruhodo-san. By ourselves if we have to. Yes, we will. Alright. Examine! Let's take a look here. Naruhodo-san, are you there? Sorry, I'm right here. Yes. Why? Oh, good. I thought you might have climbed into the wardrobe when I wasn't looking. There's no place like home. Believe me, I don't have some strange compulsion to jump inside every wardrobe I see, you know. Well, anyway, I'm not sure anyone could fit inside this one. It's full of beautiful outfits. I suppose they're all stage costumes. I was rather hoping we might find Miss Pavlova's friend hiding there, but no such luck. Interesting. Can we look at your bag? No, we cannot. Okay, look at all these things. The door. Alright. All the books have toppled over together. Look, every single one. Do you think that's a god of the sea, perhaps? He's toppled too, though. It's exactly the same as the bookcase next door, in Kazuma's cabin. Perhaps. Perhaps Miss Pavlova was practicing a difficult ballet pose and fell against the bookcase. I don't know. Would she really be practicing ballet on the same night she ran away from her ballet company? Alright then. It must have been you. You lost your temper and knocked them all over in a fit of rage. Not everything bad that happens on the ship is because of me. Well, anyway, I'll set them all straight again in here, too. I don't like seeing things in disarray. Okay. Let's check this. There's just a few books on the desk. Nothing else by the looks of it. Well, Miss Pavlova only ran away from the ballet last night. She's hardly occupied this cabin for any time at all. That's true. I wonder what kind of books she likes to read. Let me see. Yes, I see. It would seem that Miss Pavlova enjoys reading books written in Russian. Thanks. I think I probably already knew that. It's rude to ask too much of people, Naruhodo-san. Kindly remember that. Okay. Oh my, Miss Pavlova's case is open. It's completely empty inside. But according to the great detective's great deduction, she was hiding her special friend in here. Yes, the friend that she had to keep secret. Because you're not allowed to bring animals aboard the SS Borea. I wonder what kind of animal she had in there. And more to the point, where is it now? Interesting. What else have we missed? Trash. I suppose every cabin has a waste paper basket. Shall we have a little look and see what's been thrown away? Naruhodo-san, it's poor etiquette to go sifting through someone's rubbish, you know. Ugh, those eyes. She's looking at me like I'm a piece of rubbish now. However, these are special circumstances, I think. Exactly, we have no choice. There's hardly anything in here at all. Oh, well, that's a little disappointing. I wonder what this little saucer is doing on the floor. Yes, it doesn't look like it's been dropped. More like it was put there deliberately. Do you think there could be a leak in the roof just above here? What? A leak? Is this ship quite safe? I'm sure that even if there's a little leak in the roof, it doesn't mean the whole ship is going to sink. No, you're right. Of course you're right. She's really trying to persuade herself, isn't she? Right. It would seem this teapot is empty. So the natural conclusion is that the Russians are a very thirsty people. Or because Miss Pavlova only came into this cabin last night, she hasn't had the chance to make any tea yet. I mean, it could be either. It's definitely that they're excessively thirsty. I'd lay 1,000 to 1 on it. You're rather obstinate, aren't you? Naruhodo-san. Interesting. What else is there to investigate? Ah, yes, they're displayed in this cabin too. Look. The SS Borea Rules of Passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. I suppose Miss Pavlova realized that she needed to keep the contents of her case a secret after she read this. Her special friend. I wonder where her friend has disappeared to now. It's probably having fun exploring the ship, I imagine. I just hope Seaman Stroganoff doesn't find it and throw it overboard. Oh, yeah, so do I. So this ventilator connects to Kazuma's cabin next door. Yes. Although what a fool a shipbuilder must be to open a ventilator to another room. Ah, maybe. It's so that if there's a gas leak next door, the occupant of this cabin would notice and raise the alarm. Or the occupants of both cabins would die of gas poisoning. That is a possibility. Anyway, last night, Kazuma wrote that he saw a speckled band coming out of this ventilator. What else is there to investigate? This cabin door has the same simple sort of bolted latch that our cabin door has. With the bolts drawn across, there's no way anybody could enter the cabin from outside. Yes, it's not a particularly heavy-duty bolt, is it? But still, it wouldn't slide across on its own accord, would it? No, and the door is made of metal, so there's no chance of trickery using magnets to unbolt it from the other side. And it seals up perfectly, too, to stop any seawater coming through. So you couldn't use the method you told me of passing a thread through a crack around the closed door either. They seem to know a lot of tricks for opening doors. I'm starting to see why they suspect me. Where's this seem to be anything else in here, so let's go back outside. Oh, let's show some things to you. Because we haven't investigated anything. Okay, we didn't look at this yet. Victim. Male. Far Eastern. Time of death sometime between 1 a.m. and a little past 2 a.m. Cause of death, damage to the cervical vertebrae, resulting in instant death. The victim's neck was almost certainly broken as a result of a strong blow to the area. No obvious external injuries or traces of poison. No idea. No idea. Can I... Can't converse either. I can't present. Okay, let's move the passageway, and let's see if we can go to the second, the second thing. Oh! I didn't even know he was standing there! Hey, Bimbo Sholmes, what's up? Oh, it's Mr. Sholmes, look! Wow, you never know where he's going to turn up next, do you? He seems to be stealing a look at something as he sings to himself. Tra-la-la, lira-lira-lay. I did it the great detective way. He's still singing. Do you think he hasn't noticed us? Or he's simply in extremely high spirits? Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when the yard bit off more than it could chew. And through it all, when there was doubt, it's lucky her luck was about. Excuse me. I solved it all and I stood tall. I did it the great detective way. Mr. Sholmes! Ah! What is it? You want to fight, hmm? Honestly, interrupting a fellow when he's singing, and I was just about to reach the climactic finish. Sorry, I thought you were never going to stop, so I figured now is as good as time as any. He very nearly dropped you to the floor with one of my famous right hooks. Alright. I get the picture. Now, could you put those fists away? What is that? Mr. Sholmes, you seem to be examining something before we interrupted you. Ah, yes, that. I was immersed in study of the ship's log as penned by the stockily built crewman who's usually on guard here. Oh, yes, the ship's log. And did you find out anything useful from it? Well, after 2 a.m. this morning, the majority of the entries are blank. Which means that there was nothing to report. Nothing of note happened, so... You truly are a student from the land of the rising sun. You've been utterly blinded by it. Sorry? Your logic, my boy, is inverted. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? Observe the other pages and all shall become clear. It would seem the crewman oft stands sentry in this first-class passageway. And he has an almost religious practice of recording nothing to report every half hour. Oh, he writes that in every 30 minutes? Nothing to report? Oh, hydrate and posture check. Fine, I'll do it. I got it. There we go. Precisely. Put simply, the seaman writes nothing to report when there is just that. And yet, the ship's log from last night is largely blank. He didn't even write nothing to report. Do you mean? Yes. There were circumstances afoot last night which led to the seaman being absent from his post. What kind of circumstances? What happened? That remains a mystery for now. But we can be sure something significant took place. So significant that it caused the seaman to forget his regular habit of scribing nothing to report in the log. These are important details. I would stake my life on it. You must log the ship's log in your mental file. The ship's log has been entered into the court record. Now that deduction was worthy of great detective. Ah, you're starting to understand what my way is. I see. What makes a Sholmes Sholmes? Brilliance. Okay. Sure. Ooh. Ouch. What is it? Are you hurt? Oh, don't worry yourself. I seem to be afflicted with a throbbing head this morning for some reason. Nothing more. Well, my friends, until our next encounter. He's still singing to himself. I can hear it as he wanders off down the passageway. Is something wrong, Susato-san? You seem lost in thought. It's just... well, I feel the same. Sorry? Ever since I woke this morning, I've had something of a headache. A sort of continuous throbbing. No, you too? Interesting. Interesting. Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. What's that? Shut down the... okay. What is it we're rushing again? Shut down the engines immediately. Vessel sighted the court of mile 4. I don't know what accent that is. I have no idea. We're full stop. Hard to starboard. All hands brace for it. Impact! What the? I think we're about to crash into another ship. What? I can't stand. Susato-san, hold on to me. Oh no. All hands on deck, I guess. Susato-san, are you alright? Are you injured at all? I think I'm fine. Thank you, Naruhodo-san. Oh boy. It looks like we avoided a collision. I think... yes, the ship has come to a stop. Oh my goodness, what about you, Naruhodo-san? Are you hurt? No, I'm fine. Hello, is anybody in there? Shout if you need assistance, I guess. Oh, that sounds like... oh, Inspector Hosonaga. Is that you in there, Naruhodo-san? Unbolt the door, quickly! What? The bolt? Look at that! The door's bolted! Did you do that, Susato-san? No, I didn't touch it. Well, that's strange. How did... and look at all the books. They're just like they were before again. I thought that too. I was like, the books! The books! Naruhodo-san, aren't you going to open the door and let the inspector in? I better tidy this place up first. Don't let him in, just clean the room. Our violent emergency stop had solved one mystery at least, in a very vivid way. But I knew that what awaited us on the other side of the cabin door would not be pleasant. I hurried around tidying up the cabin with a new sense of foreboding in my heart. Interesting. Very interesting. So, Hosonaga's on the other side of the door. Oh, are we going to get to see the ship's captain? Is the captain going to get mad at us for being in the room? I bet he is. I bet the captain's going to be super mad. 9th of January. SS Borea, Miss Pavlova's cabin. Somehow, the door to the cabin we were in ended up bolted after we made an emergency stop. Susato-san took a deep breath, then gently slid back the bolt. You! What are you doing in Miss Pavlova's quarters? Ah, you both look unhurt. Good. Yes, we're fine. Thank you. What on earth happened? We heard something about how we were going to collide with another ship. Yes, it appears to have been a false report. Oh, how did that happen? There's a dense fog outside, so it's extremely difficult to see. Someone must have thought he saw a ship ahead. This person obviously triggered the alarm, and that's why we made an emergency stop. Everything is chaos. Passengers are screaming, crew are running everywhere. That's a terrible accent, don't even worry. This first-class area is the only quiet part of the ship at the moment. Oh, I see. Someone triggered the alarm. Does that mean that someone pressed that button outside? You wicked intruder dressed all in black. You are the devil. Sorry? Me? I've been called a lot of things before, but devil is a first. You opened my traveling case. How could you? What? No, we didn't touch it. That's right, Miss Pavlova. It was already open when we came into your cabin. Inspector. Yes? Arrest this man. I know he did it. He is a criminal. It is not enough that he has killed a man. Ah, and he stole away as well. A vixen promises not to steal chicken, do you believe? Take him away. He's a trespasser as well as everything else. Stow him away. Trespassing, killing. She is right, you are devil. It doesn't look good, does it? There is cell below deck. Throw him in. Oh no. Tomorrow we dock in Hong Kong. Then we give you straight to police. Wait, a cell? Please, Inspector Hosonaga, is there nothing you can do? This is a Russian vessel. I really have no jurisdiction. After my last effort to appeal to the captain's good nature, I think I'm out of options. This is terrible. This is a real crisis. I've got to find a solution. Immediately. Okie dokie. So, let us examine a thing. Examine room. I just need to keep calm and focus on the task at hand, which is investigating. Don't touch my things. You want me to show you where crawfish hibernates? Hiya! God, I'm gonna die. Mr. Naruhodo, what do you think you're doing? Wow, everyone's attacking me, and I was just starting to think she was my friend. Is there anyone who can help me out of this mess? Oh. Oh no! This idiot, what is he doing? What the? What are you doing up there? Mr. Sholmes? This guy, Your Honor, he's dumb. Sorry, he's a himbo. He's a bimbo. I love him. Naturally, I was analyzing what a weight of 20,000 rubles felt like on one's head. Have I not told you that as a detective, it is my business to know what other people do not? This isn't mere tomfoolery, my boy. Oh, no. Well, why were you hanging from that hook before? Is it as obvious? To properly assess the weight of the 20,000 rubles, naturally. I wished to determine if it would bend that conceited-looking hook on the wall, so full of brag and bounce. Ah, I never know whether to take this man seriously or not. Ah, you again. The great detective. Ah, Inspector, I confess, I've been looking for you. I have something to report to you most urgently. Well, you might try looking for me somewhere other than a hook on the wall next time. What is to report? Speak. An urgent report from a great detective can mean but one thing. Yes? The case of the curious murder that took place last night here on this vessel, the steamship Warrior, has been solved by me, naturally. What? Really? Yes. I've eliminated all other possibilities. No other explanation exists. So, allow me to illuminate all your minds. For I am about to reveal my great detective's greatly admired great deduction to the case. I hate him, but I love him. Ah, you resolved it. Even Hedgehog understands this case. We all knew who was responsible for killing Student Boy this morning when we found criminal involved. It is the stolen, and he has handcuffs to prove it. I didn't do it! The trouble is, there doesn't appear to be anyone else who could have killed the victim. Because, as everyone knows, the cabin door was bolted shut from the inside. That means the culprit must be someone who was inside the cabin. Yes, it's what's called a locked room mystery in detective stories. Okay. Thoughts. I have a thought. So, let's, can I investigate the court record? I guess not. So, here's a thought that I have, alright? So, according to the postmortem, he got hit on the back of the neck, resulting in instant death, right? It was broken, strong blow, boop. If you're looking at how the ship turned in that, like, little test thing, all the books turn to this side, right? Or I guess this side, because camera's the other way. They all turned this direction, right? The lock went this way. Kazuma fell this way, and his neck was facing that way. So something must have hit him on the back of the neck, coming from, this direction. So the only thing that is over there is the table, his sword, the chicken bone, or the pheasant bone, or the whatever bone, and whatever's on the floor there. Then there's also his scuff mark on the floor, which I'm thinking he came back from somewhere, or he was walking around, and the boat shifted, and he slipped and fell. That's my thought, is that his shoes slipped on the ground, leaving the scuff mark, and he fell. That pink glass that's there, I'm not sure what that is. That's the only thing I'm kind of caught up on. Because half of it's missing. So I don't know. It's interesting. I have no idea. The drugs? Again, I have no idea. That's the only thing. I think the drugs came in through the ventilation system, because everyone seems to be affected by it differently. But the only thing that's getting me is that the vents in the wall of these two rooms are connected. I don't know if any of the other rooms are connected. That's, like, interesting. Or, I'm thinking, it's the fog outside. Because they're like, the fog, it's hard to see, it's very dense, very thick. If the same thing that happened now happened last night, maybe there's something about this fog that causes hallucinations, or something with the head, maybe fuzzy head, everybody's kind of got this, like, throbbing head thing. That's true. We don't know about the fog, we haven't seen it ourselves, so I'm not sure. I have no idea. But this scuff mark, I feel, is from him falling, or tripping, when the ship moved. I don't know what this is. That's the only thing that's catching this. I don't know what that pink thing is. Also, the Russian words. I don't think Kazuma spoke Russian. So, somebody else must have written that? I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that we don't know yet, but a lot of stuff that it could be. Now, locked room at this point. The room was locked. Well, I can't deny that. There's no way the bolt could have been drawn across the room from outside the cabin. Whatever. You're all quite mistaken. The cabin next door is not a so-called locked room at all. What? Yes. There was another entrance. An entrance used last night by the culprit in order to gain access to the cabin despite the bolted door. One other entrance. We never discovered one. Why? It gapes open-mouthed at you even as we speak. The ventilator, man. The ventilator. You think this is funny? I cannot even put my arm through that hole. That's because your arms are as thick as tree trunks. You're suggesting that the culprit entered and left the victim's cabin through that tiny opening? It's not possible. Oh, but it is. And last night, the victim even witnessed the intruder in the act of passing through the ventilator. Mr. Sholmes, do you mean... Are you referring to the words Kazuma-sama wrote in his diary? 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator ground. Precisely, my dear madam. But what does it mean? What is this speckled band? The answer to that particular conundrum is in this very cabin. Bro, what are you doing? Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing? There is a distinct element of danger, but fear not, I am ready. What I'm about to expose for you all to see will shock you to your cores. Behold. What the... It is a snake! It is a snake! Also, it is the cutest little snake. It's really cute. Look at that. Oh, boy. That's cute. Allow me to introduce you all to the band. The Speckled Band. A snake? Indubitably. Jason, the tan line. The tan line! The tan line, you're right! Hold on, you're absolutely right. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. The tan line. No way. That's crazy. Also, I know. Okay, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Broseph got a snake tan. So what I'm thinking is my head is immediately going to Ace Attorney logic, right? So the murderers in this situation could be Sherlock Sholmes or Biff. You know why? Pink. He's got pink. He's got these dark pink tan lines. And he's got a red thing. But also, I mean, Hosonaga has it too, so I don't think. I think Broseph's the Broseph. Stroganoff is the murderer. Man, he's like in the game forever. Yeah, I know. Doesn't mean he's not a murderer. Yeah, me too, yo. Like, me too. Mr. Sholmes? Just one thing. Pray, what troubles you? Well, that snake isn't really speckled, is it? Looks more stripy, wouldn't you say? Hmm? Yes, you're right. I think in this case, you'd have to call it the striped band, wouldn't you? You both see and observe with distinction. However, do you not think that is precisely the trap into which the culprit wishes you to fall? Oh my goodness, really? It's a trap? How exactly? I think perhaps it is time I explained the intricacies of my train of thought. Are you ready, Miss Pavlova? I'm sorry for the young man who died, but that is all. His death is nothing to do with me. This whole thing is nothing to do with me. There are two conclusions I can draw from the facts. Number one, last night your friend infiltrated the victim's cabin. And number two, why did that happen? The same friend was responsible for the victim losing his life. No. She's turned as white as a bowl of rice again. Sholmes must be right. He's hit the nail on the head. This young woman's friend killed Mr. Asogi. This is cute. Looks like he can't speak with that snake coiled around his head. I would advise as little movement as possible, Sam. You wouldn't want the fangs of that long friend in your neck. So, everyone, let us begin. Sherlock Sholmes is proud to present his Logic and Reasoning Spectacular. The Great Deduction. The game is afoot. Topic 1. Intruder's Identity. Miss Pavlova, moments ago you claimed the following. His death is nothing to do with me. This whole thing is nothing to do with me. Yet you cannot deceive yourself. Yes, when you recall those horrid events, your aching heart smarts with pain. And it is that very pain that evidences your inextricable, goddammit, link to the victim's death. So we ask, what was the nature of this intruder that stole into the victim's cabin on that portentous night? Why, naturally, it was the friend with which you boarded this vessel, was it not? Ah, as I suspected, another telltale glance. Without doubt, your friend is the writhing serpent we see before us. No, it's not the snake. She came with the man. Did she come with Stroganov? Or did she come with a different snake? Hold on. Did she come with Stroganov or did she come with a snake? That's what I want to know. And yet that fact leaves us in quandary. In a quandary. The victim's written observations on the night in question tell of a speckled band. Whereas, regrettably, this specimen's markings do not fit that description in any way. What explanation can we then give, pray? What was this sight that fell upon the victim's eyes last night? Maybe the snake has nothing to do with it. Maybe it... yeah, maybe not. No, don't look at me. This has nothing to do with any of this. Oh, but it does. You have the answer to this quandary, even now, hidden behind your back. Is that the speckled band? What is that? Hold on. Yes, that which you are trying but failing to conceal can only be the snake's sloughed skin. Evidently, after the subtle and horrible crime, this most deadly friend of yours shed its original skin, you know? If it was a snake, it'd be too much like the Sherlock Holmes story. Yeah. Huh. I don't know what you're talking about. Last night, through the ventilator visible in this cabin, your then speckled friend slithered next door. Using the bell cord on the other side of the bridge, the serpent silently descended into the victim's quarters. In the dim light, it appeared to the young gentleman who was about to lose his life as a speckled band. In summary, the nature of this friend of yours, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime, is a rare breed of snake whose markings change each time it sloughs its skin. A snake so dreadful, we can only imagine it would be found in the deepest depths of India. Conclusion. A beloved speckled snake. Topic 2. How Mr. Asogi died. Moving on. We've come to the heart of the matter. The grim demise of the victim. How did this young man lose his life, and why? According to the data of which I've been apprised, it would appear there were no visible signs of injury. In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by a terrible venom. Blows a kiss to the courtroom. Now, if we take that as a fact, we can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence to affirm it was at the scene of the crime. Oh no, could there be? Yes. An examination of the deceased's body will prove the cause of death conclusively. The almost, but not quite, imperceptible puncture wounds left by the venomous fangs will seal the truth. Dude, there's nothing. I'm sorry. Yes, the vestiges of the snake bite delivered by your terrifying friend. This makes no sense. It really doesn't. There is no point feigning ignorance, Miss Pemberton. After the incident, you endeavored to hide everything, didn't you? But now your involuntary glance betrays the hiding place you chose. That's right. You hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that traveling case. When we first met in this cabin, it came to my attention that your case moved periodically. Your serpent assassin was restless and silent, no doubt. You don't... It is telling that the victim made a note of low whistling sound that he heard minutes before his end. That was your signal, was it not? The sound you had used to train your serpent friend. Indeed. You'd put the serpent through the ventilator. After a period, you'd summon it back with a whistle. You couldn't know if the animal had done its duty, so you would listen for signs of life next door. If the victim appeared not to have been dispatched, you'd release the snake once more. Do you deny this snake has undergone such training? It is not true! Having slithered through the ventilator and down the bell cord, the creature needed only to sink its fangs in roots. And its venom coursed through the victim's veins, ending his existence forever. That is the true nature of the speckled band that took the poor young man's life. There can be no doubt. My logic is infallible. Actually, Sholmes. Death by a venomous snake's bite. Sholmes, you dumbass. Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of the speckled band. Dude, there's nothing. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, there's nothing. Everyone's like, dude, what? Dude, huh? Miss Pavlova has trained her pet snake as a killing machine. There on the floor, you'll observe a saucer of milk. The promise of food is the key to training any creature. Incredible! You solved the mystery! Oh, amazing. Your great deduction really lives up to its name. I see now why Herlock Sholmes has become such a household name. My dear man, it was nothing remarkable. As the Russians say, I could have done it with one left hand. Can I venture an opinion, Mr. Sholmes? But of course, what's on your mind? It's just about your deductions before. Some things don't quite make sense to me. I welcome questions as to my method, and will answer both loudly and proudly. Oh, well, good. First of all, snakes are egg-laying creatures, part of the reptile family. You are well informed, madam. And reptiles, don't Drink milk. Ah. It's really only mammals that like to drink milk, you see. So, I'm not sure it would be possible to train a snake to using milk as a reward. No matter. No doubt Miss Pavlova used some other treat to encourage her pet to do her bidding. Susato out here ripping her luck to shreds. Milk was merely an example. The logic holds. Well, there is something else. Snakes have no ears. Ah. Yes, so I'm not sure it would really be possible to signal to a snake by listening. But madam, what are the tales from Arabia? Have you not heard of the snakes that dance to the sound of the flute? I think perhaps the performers play their music in time with the snake's natural movements. Oh. I see. No hands, no feet, no ears? These creatures are so inept as to be practically useless. Don't take it out on the snakes, Mr. Sholmes. There is one other thing. You have more? Snakes use the scales on their bellies to propel themselves. So, I'm not really sure that a snake can manage to climb up a flat bell cord like the ones in these cabins. Then it should try harder. Please, don't be angry with me, Mr. Sholmes. The point is, even if the snake had gone through the ventilator to the next door cabin, it couldn't have come back without help. What I'm trying to say is that there are a number of reasons why it's difficult to imagine the snake could have had a part in this. Everyone's like, oops. My bad. I think we need to step in and help again, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, no, you don't mean... Yes, we need to modify Mr. Sholmes' latest deductions and turn them into the great ones they ought to be. I had a feeling that was coming. Alright, let's give it a try. Just what I was waiting for. Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, right. Prepare me apart, Lisa! So cast your eyes down to your wrists again. What? You've done it again! Your handcuffs are gone! Where did they go? Fear not. I shall see they're restored after our work is done. I really wish you'd leave them off. Now, everyone, let us begin. Sherlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. Course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes. Miss Pavlova, moments ago you claimed the following. His death is nothing to do with me. The whole thing is nothing to do with me. Yet you cannot deceive yourself. Yes, when you recall those horrid events, your aching heart smarts with pain. She does have a pained expression on her face. Yes, that's true. She looks as though Kazuma-sama's death is weighing heavily on her mind. But you're not sure Mr. Sholmes has read her quite correctly, is that it? Could there be some other way to interpret her expression then? Let's take a moment. And really look very closely at Miss Pavlova. So... What is that? Oh, you got a claw scratch. Oh, Naruhodo-san, look! That looks like a very painful wound. It looks like a scratch made by some kind of small animal. Fairly recently, too. Well, whatever scratched her doesn't appear to be around here. Okay. What's causing her pain?
Yes!
The claw scratch! Yeah, I think it's like a cat or something. Yes, when you recall those horrid events, that claw scratch smarts with pain. Indeed, and simple observation reveals that the wound is fresh. The Miss Pavlova, did you in fact receive that scratch sometime last night? When I think about the young man who died next door, I feel so sad. When I am sad, the pain from this wound is worse. And it is that very pain that evidences your inextricable link to the victim's death. So we ask, what was the nature of this intruder that stole into the victim's cabin on that pretentious night? Well, naturally, it was that friend with which you boarded this vessel, was it not? Ah, as I suspected. Another telltale glance. Without doubt, your friend is the writhing serpent we see before us. No. Lies. It seems likely that the scratch mark on the back of Miss Pavlova's hand was made by this friend of hers, doesn't it? Except, snakes don't have claws, do they? No, they don't. They don't even have hands or feet on which claws might grow. Well then, if that snake isn't her pet, what is? What's the true identity of this friend of hers? We should follow her gaze, son. That's where we'll find the answer. Okay. Oh, there's a picture of her with a cat. Oh, that is a cute cat. What the hell? Look at that cat. The bell. The bell. Okay. Okay, so thoughts based on this image, all right? So the cat got, oh, interesting. Here we go. Okay, the cat got through the vents. All right, the cat got through the vents. The bell was tied around the neck with a speckled scarf or whatever she was holding in her hand, right? Because the bell is no longer on the cat. She lost the cat somehow, or she got the cat back and then it ran away. But the cat doesn't have that speckled scarf. My impression of this is that the cat got through, jumped out. She was like, "Oh no, it went to the next room. What am I gonna do?" Stroganoff went next door to get the cat, right? And somehow, when Stroganoff was over there getting the cat, that's when the boat tipped. Because Stroganoff would have known Russian. Or she goes in there. One of them goes in there. Somebody who speaks Russian goes in there. So I'm thinking it's either her or Stroganoff. Goes into the next room to get the cat back. There is something that happens, because that's when everything gets tipped. Maybe the cat got scared or something when she tried to grab it, scratched her hand, and she bore witness to whatever happened that killed him. Maybe? So either she or Stroganoff they were in the room next door. That's what I'm getting. I'm probably wrong, but who knows? Wow, look at the photograph in this frame. This must be something Miss Pavlova brought with her when she ran away. She's exceptionally beautiful, isn't she? She's exceptionally beautiful, isn't she? Yes, that's true. But personally, it's the little black creature she's holding that's caught my eye. Maybe we'd better take a closer look at this. Little kitten. Look at that little cat Miss Pavlova's cuddling here. Oh, what a cute little kitten. It could be... Vi with you? V with you? Cool. For the blackest outfit. Oh, could vie with you. Okay. Black kitten. And from the look of this picture, at least, Miss Pavlova seems very attached to it. Yes! Little kitten. Without doubt, your friend is the little kitten we see before us. Yes, the scratch on the back of your hand makes that abundantly clear. Oh no. Oh no. The whereabouts of this black kitten isn't clear, but what is clear is that you brought the animal with you when you ran away, didn't you? Oh no, got me. Darka is my best friend. I couldn't leave her behind. Darka would appear to be a Russian clue. And yet that fact leaves us in a quandary. The victim's written observations on the night in question tell of a speckled band, whereas, regrettably, this specimen's markings do not fit that description in any way. What explanation can we then give, pray? What was this sight that fell upon the victim's eyes last night? No, don't look at me. It has nothing to do with any of this. Oh, but it does. You have the answer to this quandary, even now, hidden behind your back. Yes, that which you are trying but failing to conceal can only be the snake's sloughed skin. Did you see that? She just took something out of her pocket and hid it behind her back. If she just left it in her pocket, no one would ever have known. That's exactly what I was thinking. Like, she takes it out of her pocket when he talks about it, so you can see everything. What the hell? Oh, yes, ploys like that are Mr. Schultz's specialty. He's ever so cleverly forced her to reveal something. I thought deduction was his specialty. Or maybe making me believe that was a ploy too. Anyway, I find it hard to believe that that's the skin of a snake. In which case, just what is Miss Pavlova hiding behind her back? What is that? Well, it is speckled, and it is a band, but what is it? It seems to be soft and fluffy. A long piece of cloth of some sort? And that looks like a handle on it. Oh, a cat's toy! Oh, she was trying to get it to come back through the thing. She was dangling it through the vent. This sort is common in the West, apparently. How is that a toy made for cats? Cats like to chase the band around and paw at it. Kittens in particular love that sort of play. You only need to wave it in front of them, and they pounce to catch it. That sounds positively adorable. Cat's toy.
Yes!
Yes, the thing you were trying but failing to conceal is, a cat's toy. Precisely the true nature of that now infamous speckled band. And it was this toy that you dangled through the ventilator. You waved it around, I presume. Naturally, the victim could not fail to notice it. But why? For what reason? My dear boy, there can only be one answer to that. After her feline friend disappeared through the ventilator to the neighboring cabin, Miss Pavlova attempted to use the speckled cat's toy to incite the creature to return. Ah. In summary, the nature of this friend of Miss Pavlova's, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime, is a blithesome Russian blue breed of cat by the name of Darka. Ooh, we got you now. A truly troublesome feline young Darka is proving to be. She must be caged once found. You will forgive us for borrowing the photograph of your pet, Miss Pavlova. The photograph of Miss Pavlova and Darka has been entered into the court record. Okie dokie. It was after I gave her food last night. That's when it happened. She scratched the back of my hand, and then ran up the bell cord. Before I could do anything, she disappeared through the ventilator. Barca, she's so naughty. Okay. So it's a cat, a lost cat. But then what was in the suitcase earlier? And he didn't die from a bite. We know that. Moving on. We come to the heart of the matter. The grim demise of the victim. How did this young man use his life, and why? According to the data of which I have been apprised, it would appear that there were no visible signs of injury. Okay, we know that. In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by terrible venom. Wrong! What Mr. Sholmes says is true. There were no signs of a wound anywhere on Kazuma-sama's body. That's right, but Mr. Sholmes seems to be unaware of one very important detail. Kazuma wasn't poisoned. Yes, it seems so. Let's give him the information he's missing now. Here you go.
Yes!
Post-mortem report. In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by the post-mortem report. Yes. I knew it was one of them. His necklace... Indeed. The breaking of the cervical vertebrae is fatal. Only that Goliath would be strong enough to survive that. It seems Stroganoff isn't some immortal freak, you know. The jury is out. Anyway, we have on good authority that the victim's neck was broken. Now, if we take that as fact... we can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence to affirm it at the scene of the crime. Oh no, could there be? Yes. An examination of the deceased's body would prove the cause of death conclusively. I can't read. Kazuma died because his neck was broken. In other words, he was probably struck by something, or someone. Yes, that's a distinct possibility. As of yet, no weapon has been found. Presumably, Darka didn't silently creep up behind Kazuma and deal him a fatal blow. I suppose. It's possible that he had a fall and hit the ground awkwardly. It could have been a terrible act of misfortune that he broke his neck completely by accident. Oh, yes. A bad fall could explain it. Okay, so, new information. Cat's in the room, right? Cat gets in. Pavlova throws the cat toy through the thing to try and get it to, you know, get the cat to come back. Kazuma sees this, writes it down. What the hell is that? Okay, right? Gets up to go investigate, right? Maybe that's when the ship started to turn. As he was trying to steady himself as the ship was turning, he tripped on the cat. And he fell and hit the ground. Now, the only thing that would flaw that logic, flaw that train of thought, is the fact that 2 minutes before he sees the speckled band, he mentions something about a whistle. I think that whistle is the emergency something. The emergency sound alarm or something that alerts people to move the boat. So he heard that. Then, after he heard that, he saw the speckled band. Then he got up. Then he walked over somewhere, I guess, to go investigate. Then the ship started moving. He was swaying, tripped on the cat. The cat's collar, or the cat's bell on the collar, cracked. Because he fell on it. Or kicked it, or something. I don't know. I'm just trying to make it up. I'm trying to figure it out. We're getting there. It's rather hard to believe of Kazuma-sama, though. He wasn't a clumsy man. Well, we need to fix this deduction somehow. Is there anything from the scene that could explain what happened? Okay. An examination of the blank will prove the cause of death. Made by Kazuma's shoes. Okay. Mark on the floor.
Yes!
Yes, an examination of the mark on the floor will prove the cause of death conclusively. Okay. This particular mark, so prominently visible next to the victim's body, is a deposit of shoe polish. Shoe polish? Indeed. Positively identified by a little analysis device I constructed, which I now carry now as much, of course. Beeswax, tallow, dye are my results. The undeniable ingredients of shoe polish. And the color of the polish is a perfect match to the color of Mr. Osogi's lace leather shoes. Looking at this mark, it's not hard to imagine what happened. For some reason, Mr. Osogi must have caught his foot at that point on the floor and tripped. Please, no. And by a dreadful turn of misfortune, caught his neck against some immovable object as he fell to the floor. Suffering a fatal blow to the spine, the victim's vertebrae shattered, and in that instant he lost his life. Uh-oh. I don't know. I don't know anything about this. Is that really true, Miss Pavlova? What about the evidence left at the scene where Mr. Osogi lost his life? Yes, the facts are as clear as day to me. You did all you could to conceal incriminating evidence. But now your involuntary glance betrays the hiding place you chose. That's right. You hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that traveling case. Also, hello, Becky! Why? Why did it do that? It's like I touched it and it went weird. Give it a second, it'll be back. There it is. I don't believe it. Kazuma-sama merely tripped over and now he's no more? It can't be true. I refuse to accept it. How's my night going? It's going pretty good. It's better than the last few nights I've been having. I can say that much. I know it's hard to believe, but the mark on the floor does seem to suggest that's what happened. But, and if this part of Mr. Sholmes' deduction is right, Miss Pavlova is trying to hide some evidence that will prove it. Here in this cabin. Somewhere in the direction that she just cast her eyes. Where, I wonder? Let's have a good look around. The answer must be here somewhere. Did she put it... It's not the crown. I want to see if it's in there. Perhaps all the first-class cabins have them. But Miss Pavlova only started occupying this cabin last night. There's not much rubbish in there. Oh, there it is. Oh, what's that? It's a broken piece of glass, isn't it? Yes, it is. I feel like I've seen it somewhere before. If it looks familiar, perhaps it's more than your mind simply playing tricks on you. Yes! Present! It's in the trash! It's the other half of the collar. That's right! You hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that waste paper basket. Here we have the fragment of some intricate glass object in the scene. That's unclear. One that has a very familiar air, in fact. Precisely. We found another piece of broken glass on the floor in Mr. Osogi's cabin. And, as you can see, the two pieces? Goddamn. Two pieces fit together perfectly. I can't read English. My brain's broken. Oh no. So, Miss Pavlova, shall we consider what this tells us? Why would it be that part of this glass object, which was evidently broken at the scene of the victim's death, should be found in a waste paper basket in your cabin? Uh-oh, we got it. You're well acquainted with this glass bell, are you not? I don't. I don't. In that harsh Russian accent of yours, won't save you this time, Tinker. Why? Because we have conclusive evidence linking you to the bell in question. What? it away, Mrs. Pavlova. Yes. The evidence linking Miss Pavlova and this little glass bell. That would be... this!
Yes!
I think... yes, this is the evidence. Ahem, my dear fellow, that evidence deserves one of Miss Pavlova's trademark dismissals, I would say. Would you do the honors, lady? I don't know. What? It's right there! Oh, the picture. Sorry. Perhaps you would care to propose some other piece of evidence. The answer is really quite simple. Then, there's nothing more deceptive than obvious fact. Okay. It was the picture, and I was wrong. Yeah, there it is.
Yes!
Boom, boom, boom. If you look at this photograph, you can clearly see, hanging from Darka's collar, the very glass bell in question. The truth is caught up with you, Miss Pavlova. Ah yes, all according to Kikaku. Kikaku means plan. The young man who lost his life last night did so after a truly inauspicious fall. And the cause of that fateful stumble. Your absent feline friend, Darka. I couldn't tell anyone. I'm sorry. Gotcha! Your cat killed him. Death by tripping over a cat. How upsetting. That's so upsetting. Also, why did it do this again? Why don't you tell us now, Miss Pavlova? Tell us exactly what happened last night. It was a little after 1 in the morning. It was so late, but I hadn't had time to feed Darka, so I gave her some food. And then all of a sudden, she scratched me and jumped out of my hands. People do say that cats become very anxious and nervous in new environments. She was so fast, and she disappeared through the ventilator before I could stop her. And that is how you acquired a rather nasty wound on the back of your hand, I take it. Yes. They had read the rules on the wall. They know that I was not allowed Darka with me. Yes. Modern science suggests that animals can carry infectious diseases. It's a precaution, really. So I listened and listened, trying to hear if there was some noise in the next cabin. It was very quiet. I was sure if someone was there, he must be sleeping. So at that point, you thought it's... Oh my god! Come on. What? Oops. Oops, that's an oopsie on my part. Game slipped right out of the thing. No, you hush. Get in the thing, god damn it. OBS, no! There we go. By dangling the end of the cat's toy through the ventilator into the adjoining cabin, something happened. Darka always loves this toy, but it didn't work. Nothing worked. I tried using her favorite toy, I tried whistling to her softly, but nothing. She didn't return. So, the faint whistling sound Kazuma wrote about in his diary was Miss Pavlova trying to retrieve her pet. Cats have a propensity to remain hidden in the shadows when frightened. Yes, so there was nothing else I could do. I just had to wait until she had calmed down. But then... So it wasn't the boat. That's weird. Oh, come on. What is happening here? Uh-oh. Everything's falling out. What is going on here? Everything is breaking. Everything is breaking. I nearly passed out with shock. I heard her cry out and then, oh, it was such a dreadful bang. Then afterwards, nothing. It was totally silent. Cosmos. From the appearance of the brown mark on the floor, it seems likely that what you heard was the victim stepping on the glass bell and tripping up. The SS Boreal is a large vessel, and even she can pitch and roll violently without warning. If Mr. Asongi was already off balance as a result of the ship lurching when the kitten got under his feet, the combination of unfortunate factors could easily have caused him to fall over. But what became of the kitten afterwards? In the end, I managed to get her to come back through the ventilator. Yet Donka is nowhere to be seen. I must have forgotten to lock my case, and now she's disappeared again. Gracious, that count is as insufferably restless as I am. Well, he knows something about himself at least. What is OBS? Jesus Christ. Stay. Stay there. When they woke this morning, I heard that the young man in the cab next to mine had died. But I couldn't bring myself to tell anyone what had happened. Oh no. I was too scared. Scared that they would send me back. Oh, hold on a minute. What about the snake? You're right. Where is it? If the snake isn't your friend, Miss Pavlova, then whose is it? And where did it come from? What on earth is such a dangerous creature doing on board this ship? Oh, that's really cute.
Well, I didn't say. The snake is my friend. His name is Peroshko. What?
What?
That snake belongs to you? He escaped from cage when the emergency alarm sounded. I was looking for him. I did not expect to find him in here.
Oh. Oh, I'm a dumb. I'm a dumb. You know why I'm a dumb? The bell was pink. The bell was pink. This is stupid. Oh, this is stupid. This is stupid. There was no killer. The bell is pink. Done. Solved. Yes, how did that snake get into this cabin?
Right. Animals are not permitted on board. Ah, we're at sea for 1 year. Do you want to be so long without a close friend, without someone who understands?
Couldn't you find someone a little more human, who understands you better?
But my dear burly fellow, I can't catch you in venomous snake. Surely you can appreciate the danger you're putting him in. No then. Peroshko does not have venom. He is harmless. Very long, but very gentle. He is adorable, like Granny.
It's venomous.
Venomless, I cannot speak at all in these actions. Yes, now he is hungry, so he is in bad mood. Once I feed him, you will see big smile.
And you feed him what? Milk, I suppose?
Ah, like they say they milk chickens. Ridiculous. Snakes that drink milk are only in stupid stories. Peroshko, it's mouses. Big, fat, round mouses.
Ah. Oh, so is that what the mousetrap in the passageway out there is for?
Of course. How else can I catch my friend's favorite food?
Nothing says top of the food chain like the look in their eyes right now.
It refuses to drink milk. It can't hear a whistle. It can't climb up a bell cord, and it's not even venomous. How the deuce did something so inept land a starring role? It's not my fault. I do not make up stories. My Piroshko has nothing to do with this incident.
I also love him. He's very good. So that's what happened. That's the truth behind my best friend's tragic death. I guess so. That's unfortunate. Miss Pavlova, I understand the difficult situation you found yourself in, and I do sympathize. But please remember this. A young man lost his life. If you're going to attempt to cover up your guilt with lies, then no matter what the circumstances, I cannot forgive you. What are you talking about, Miss Bigotova? What lies? Miss Pavlova just confessed everything. It was just a series of unfortunate events. An accident. I'm no great detective like Mr. Sholmes. I don't have a gift for knowing the truth. But even I can see that was not the truth. Oh. Don't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo? What is going on here? Wait a minute. What are we not... Oh, the words on the ground. Yeah, we still don't know anything about that. To be perfectly honest, yes. There's a discrepancy in Miss Pavlova's story, I'm sure of it. I just can't quite put my finger on it. I confess, I was intending to let Scotland Yard deal with any outstanding issues on this matter. Oh. I'm only present here for a very specific reason. The truth is, you, Mr. Naruhodo, are simply a distraction. A distraction? I do hope you've not been finding your shackles too uncomfortable. Ugh, not again. When did he do that? Especially as they're on your wrists as a result of my intervention. I was rather hoping I could resolve matters before we made our next port call. You were, Mr. Sholmes? Yes, but I overlooked one important detail. The deceased young man was a very close companion of yours, was he not? Yes. Cosimo was my closest friend. I owed him my freedom, even. In that case, we must follow this to its conclusion. No further distractions. You must uncover the real truth here, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, whatever that may be. The key to this is the discrepancy in Miss Pavlova's story, I'm sure. If I can chase that down, maybe the truth will become clear. There he is. The truth about how you really died. About how that scene in your cabin really came to be. All right, I'll see what I can do. Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Naruhodo. So then, shall we begin? Yes. What we should ponder first is the victim who lost his life in the cabin that was bolted shut from the inside. What was this truly an unfortunate accident, or was it in fact no accident at all? That is what we must establish in the first incident. But we've already established it, haven't we? The man tripped over the kitten that had climbed into his cabin via the ventilator. Tragic, yes, but still an accident. Wait, let's just take a step back. It doesn't make sense if that's really what happened.
Does it? I'm going to have to ask you to spell it out for me, I'm afraid. Yes, it's starting to take shape now. There's a clear contradiction between the facts in Miss Pavlova's story here. The evidence is right there in Kazuma's cabin. It's undeniable. His death couldn't possibly have been a mere accident. Really? Let us show our hand, Mr. Naruhodo. Time to present the evidence. The evidence that proves unequivocally that the victim's death was no mere accident. Is the Russian. The truth is clearly recorded in this photographic print. There's no way that Mr. Asogi could have left this message on the floor. That script. It's Russian, isn't it? Indeed it is. The word written means wardrobe. I see what you mean. Most people would leave a dying message in their native language. Japanese, in this case.
But maybe he was studying Russian. It is a simple language. He could have picked it up very fast.
That doesn't seem likely. That's actually not the point. It makes no difference whether he knew Russian or not. Sorry, what do you mean? Exactly what I said before. There is no way that Mr. Asogi could have left this message on the floor. And the reason why is clearly explained in here. Damage to the cervical vertebrae resulting in instant death. Instant death. Ugh. Which means, after the victim fell to the floor, he couldn't possibly have written anything, because he was already dead. That's not the only reason either. There's something else we found in Mr. Asogi's cabin.
Tell me, why are you turgling?
A remnant of something that couldn't possibly have been there, if what Miss Pavlova told us was true. What? So, Susato-san has noticed it too, then. Putting this message on the floor aside, there's something else that gives the truth away. Another piece of evidence that proves this was no accident. In other words... Oh. Okay. Oh, there are no entries from 2 a.m., so somebody was not where they were supposed to be? Oh, no, I guess not. Okay, see, nothing of the sort. Fine, whatever. Either the absence of something you would expect to find at the scene of an accident, or the presence of something you wouldn't. Okay. So what was there that shouldn't be, or something that wasn't there that should be? It's starting to take shape now. It's a clear contradiction. Okay, putting this message on the... You have an idea? Yeah? Can you share? If you would like to, go for it. Wait, look at him. I shouldn't be making fun of him, but it's kind of funny. Shoe polish. Why the shoe polish? I mean, it would make sense to have shoe polish because he could have tripped as the boat was turning, and he could have scuffed his shoe. I believe we talked about I
I think we talked about his shoes being a dark red. So I think this is the right color. This is his, right? We're talking about something that's there that shouldn't be there. Or something that should be there that isn't. Unless it was. Was it his? The bell? Oh, the other half of the bell. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. The pink murder glass. Yeah, you're right. The pink murder glass. Sorry. Why did I was just like, oh, whatever. This piece of broken glass next to the mark on the floor. But that's the glass bell the kitten had around its neck. We already know about all that. It was broken in half when the victim tripped over the cat and fell. So we already have a satisfactory explanation. Where's the flaw in that logic? Unfortunately, there's a very big flaw. A fatal flaw. What? If that's really what happened, then how did one half of the bell end up back here in this cabin? Ah. Yes. Remember that we found the other half of the glass bell in that waste paper basket? Would you care to explain that, Miss Pavlova? Oh, no. Both these pieces of evidence clearly point to the same conclusion. That when Mr. Asogi died last night in his cabin, there was someone else in the room. And that same person deliberately arranged the scene to disguise the truth, in order to cover up his or her own guilt. Yes, there was someone else present in Mr. Asogi's... Who's yelling? You?
Someone else was there. Nah, of course, we know this.
What are you talking about?
Bulkhead was bolted shut from inside. There was no way in or out. Oh, yes. And only other person in cabin when young student died was you.
It's true. I was in the cabin when it happened.
You were shut inside the cabin wardrobe, to be precise about the details.
But I don't know Russian. There's no way I would have left that message.
Not would have. There's no way you could have left that message, to be precise about the details.
Would you mind?
Forgive me, my dear fellow.
As I was saying, the person in question wrote the word wardrobe in Russian on the floor, in an attempt to incriminate me for the crime, even though I had been asleep in there the entire time. And then, the same person picked up the broken glass bell that had fallen on the floor, for fear of it becoming evidence that would show how Mr. Asogi really died.
But why would this person have taken all the pieces of the bell away? Leaving half behind was always going to raise questions.
Yes, well,
It was past 1 o'clock in the early hours of the morning. The cabin would have been quite dark. The single small lamp suspended from the ceiling would barely have cast any light on the floor there. Huh. Little wonder then that the culprit failed to notice a fragment of the tiny item.
You all suspect me, don't you?
Seaman Stroganoff? Nina is woman of sea. She is daughter of strong sailor. 2 years ago, they noticed her dancing skills, and she went away to join the ballet company. But before, she was dancer on this ship, a member of ship's band. You do not accuse ship's angel of being criminal.
Ah, so that's it.
You say that when young student died, Nina was there in his cabin.
Oh, no.
But that is not possible, I give my tooth.
Well, this is all most interesting.
And why would you give your tooth, pray? How can you be so sure? You are a great detective, you should know.
Is that your dad?
Is it your dad?
Look through thin eyes. Cabin bulkhead was bolted shut from inside. Nobody could go into cabin. Not Nina, not anyone. Or, you want to tell me that killer can walk through locked doors? Niet, it's impossible. Ugh, he's right.
But wait, I've read about this in detective stories. People often tie thread around door latches so they can open and close them from the outside.
Thread? Are you stupid? These bulkheads are not barn doors. Certainly not. These are watertight doors, as one would expect to find on any modern steamship. Constructed of heavy steel, with not a gap in sight, no threads, no needles, or magnets could have been used.
No, of course not. I thought so, too. But Mr. Naruhodo suggested it earlier, so... Susato-san, how could you shift it onto me like that?
So, Seaman Stroganoff has a valid point. The cabin door could have been bolted shut from the outside. Not necessarily. But I put it to you that I could bolt this cabin door without laying a finger on it. And in this very cabin, we can see the traces of the method I have in mind, having been used before. I don't believe it. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, I believe you know what I mean, don't you? A way to shut the bolt of the cabin door from the outside? One way does spring to mind, yes.
Do you really know what Mr. Sholmes means, Mr. Naruhodo?
Yes, and so should you.
Because we've seen it happen.
Indeed we have. So, would you care to do the honors, Mr. Naruhodo?
Point out the telling signs of the method was used to shut the cabin. And it is this.
Look at the bookcase there.
See how all the books and the things on it have toppled over?
That must have happened when the ship made its emergency stop before.
Yes, that's right. It's a very powerful vessel, after all. When the engines are thrown into reverse, a violent jolt goes across the entire ship. Any small objects that aren't fastened down are bound to fall over.
I believe. Yes, it's what's known as the force of inertia acting on the objects.
Is there nothing Susato-san doesn't know? That isn't her book, at least. Well, whatever it's called, the same force that pushed over those books on the bookcase almost made something else in this cabin move. The bolt on the cabin door. It was very obvious just after the emergency stop that the ship made earlier. We had come into this cabin not long before, and we hadn't bolted the door. But then...
Shout if you need assistance.
Oh, that sounds like... Inspector Hosonaga.
Oh, yes. That's it. When the ship stopped suddenly, the bolt flew across and locked the door.
Yes, it's made of metal, but it's small and light enough to be moved by the ship's sudden change of speed.
Also, real quick, I really have to go to the bathroom. I drank way too much water, so I'm going to... It's gonna be stupid again. We'll be right back in like a hot second. There we go. Okie dokie. Hello. Hello, I'm here. Game continues. Cool. Let's figure it out. We're just gonna keep going until we finish the case, because I think that's all we have left. Hello.
Yes, it's made of metal, but it's small and light enough to be moved by the ship's sudden change of speed. Or the force of inertia, if you want to call it that. Are you trying to say that last night, after Mr. Urasogi was killed,
Yes, I am.
the SS Brigham made another emergency stop? When I woke up this morning and looked around the cabin, I thought it looked a little odd. All the books on the shelves had toppled over, and all the ornaments. It was almost as if someone had run their hand across the shelves and deliberately knocked everything over. Oh, yes, I remember that. And I stood them all up again, didn't I? Then, when we came into this cabin, we were surprised to see the same thing in here. All the books and everything had toppled over, just like in Mr. Urasogi's cabin. Oh my. Do you have anything to say about this, Miss Pavlova?
Are you out of your mind? You say Boria made the emergency stop.
It does seem a little far-fetched. How could that possibly have happened? Unless you're saying that the culprit is actually someone from the engine. Well, it is simple enough. Are you forgetting the button in the passageway outside? Used to trigger the emergency alarm. Oh, yes, of course. There was a notice, wasn't there, telling you only to press the button in times of emergency? On dark nights, When the fog is dense, the captain cannot afford to rely on the eyes of his lookout alone. Hence the placement of a number of buttons around the vessel to allow any crewman to raise the alarm. The sort of button one is almost compelled to press to satisfy one's curiosity.
What? Wait, it was you?
When the button is pressed, two things happen in the interests of safety. The emergency alarm bell rings and the vessel comes to a complete stop. As indeed it did a little earlier today.
Did he press the button?
Mr. Schultz? Surely it wasn't you who... As I always say, a button has but one purpose in life.
To be pressed, whatever the occasion. Oh, this idiot, this moron, this dumb of ass.
He sounds almost proud of himself.
How dare you mess with ship? I report you to Captain. You're in much trouble now.
Now, I'm sure all that can wait until later. Let us not overlook the fact that we have now learned a valuable lesson. When the vessel makes an emergency stop, the bolts on the cabin doors slide closed. So, what we must now consider. Yes, it all comes down to one thing. Last night, after what happened to Mr. Asogi, did this ship make an emergency stop or did it?
You are idiots. Berea is huge ship with many passengers. If we make emergency stop, even in middle, there would be chaos everywhere.
What are your thoughts, Mr. Naruto? Well, it's certainly possible that some kind of emergency happened last night. We have evidence to support that idea. Really? What evidence, Mr. Naruhodo? Fascinating. Do show us, my good man. What evidence promotes the theory that some emergency gripped the vessel last night? The ship's log. There are virtually no entries, so something happened somewhere else.
Yes!
Seaman Stroganoff, it's your duty to patrol the first-class area of the ship, isn't that right?
Da, that is correct.
Fine. And the ship's log here. This would be where you record the details of your duties.
What are you doing with that?
That is mine. You rather carelessly left it atop the makeshift bureau in the passageway. But as responsible passengers, we took it into our care, with a mind to return to you later.
I left it there on purpose. That is where I always put it.
The point is, looking at what you usually record, it's clear that under normal circumstances you write the phrase nothing to report every 30 minutes. But from 2 o'clock last night until the first light this morning, nothing was recorded at all. Nothing recorded in the log?
That is... Da, because nothing happened.
But if nothing happened, you would normally write nothing to record, wouldn't you? Indeed so. Which tells us that shortly after 2 a.m., something happened here aboard the SS Boreal. Something sufficiently significant to make you forget to film the ship's log flight. Are you suggesting that the ship really did make an emergency stop in the middle of the night?
Stop talking rubbish.
If I'm perfectly honest, I find that a little hard to believe myself. Oh? Why? Well, because if something as major as an emergency stop really had happened, surely all of us would have noticed. That's very true. Thanks to the emergency stop we experienced earlier, we all know what it feels like. The ship lurched so violently, and the alarm bell was so loud. I can't imagine that anybody would sleep through that, even if it happened in the dead of night. Well, no, that's a good point. What of the throne? Sorry, what do you mean? Your head, man. The throbbing of your head since this morning. We all have suffered with it. Oh, yes, I have had a headache, you're right. In fact, I haven't been feeling myself since I woke up today. Nor have I. My head has been feeling heavy ever since dawn. Yes, you've all been afflicted, haven't you? Just as I suspected. He's right. My head's been throbbing today, too. And since eating dinner yesterday evening, everything has felt sort of easy. I can't really remember anything that happened after I climbed back inside the wardrobe. And the first thing I noticed this morning was the throbbing pain in my head. I had already been dragged out of the wardrobe. And with those handcuffs put on me by that point. Oh, by that point, why didn't I wake up when all this was happening to me? Tell me, Mr. Larock, you boarded this vessel as a stowaway, didn't you? Oh, well, yes. Sorry. The stowaway class of accommodation doesn't usually include meals. What did you survive on? Well, Kazuma looked after me. He was always happy to share his meals. So you enjoyed some of the whole roast chicken dish that was served yesterday evening, I take it? Yes. In fact, I had all of that. Kazuma wasn't fond of chicken. Oh, really? So the victim didn't eat any of the chicken at all? That's right, he didn't touch it. Is that relevant? My dear fellow, does that not strike you? Oh, Mr. Sholmes, do you mean to say that there was something wrong with the chicken? I do. No! Really? Is that really true? The meal prepared for the passengers last night had been tampered with. Tampered with in the addition of a soporific, designed to induce a very deep slumber in those who consumed it. A sleeping drug. Do you mean whoever did this laced every meal with a sleeping drug? So no one would notice the ship's emergency stop? Mr. Naruhodo, of course that's not what Mr. Sholmes means. What a far-fetched idea. Precisely. Lacing every meal of every passenger on board with a soporific drug would certainly be impossible. Unless, that is, every single member of the crew is a conspirator. What? Mr. Sholmes? Well, Seaman. I'm sorry to say that any more deception in this manner will get you nowhere. If you refuse to talk, there would have to be an inquiry made through the shipping company, of course. Oh, the emergency stop was to pick up her. That's what it was. Because she even said so. I got here yesterday. Okay. I see. So they had an emergency stop to pick her up. They drugged everybody so they wouldn't think that they had stopped. And that they were still en route to Hong Kong. Got it. Yeah. Okay. I get it. And for that to happen, every member of the crew and the captain himself would be hauled over the coals. I can't speak. For aiding and abetting a renegade. Yep. Please, no more. I will tell everything. I cannot make problems like this. For everyone anymore. These crewmen are your former comrades, I believe. Yes. So when I decided to run away, I asked them to help. You're great then. Everyone together. She threw everything away. Her fame in the ballet, Mother Russia, we wanted to help our angel.
put sleeping drug in chicken last night.
Yes, I remember now. I did notice chewing on a lump of something strange and bitter.
Da, we could not make our drug, how did you say, dissolve.
Ugh. Talk about heavy season.
At midnight in waters near Shanghai, we brought our angel on board. She was helped by comrade on shore of a small fishing boat.
While all the passengers of the SS Boreas slept soundly, thanks to the almost magical effects of the slumber-inducing potion their evening meals had contained. So, if that's what happened, the only people awake on the ship last night were the crew, people who disliked chicken, and the newly boarded passenger, Miss Pavlova. And that means it would have been possible for you. You could have used the emergency stop trick to lock Kazuma's cabin door. But how does that make sense? Surely every cabin door would have ended up locked in that case, and there would have been complete chaos.
His fish tie, it's very good.
Oh, I wouldn't say so. What? Ah, of course. Just like us, all the other passengers would have eaten their evening meal of chicken in their cabins, after which they would have been overwhelmed by tiredness because of the sleeping drug. Quite. And accordingly, all passengers were already in their cabins for the night. Yes. The overwhelming majority of passengers would habitually sleep with their cabin doors bolted anyway, and so not one of them would have found it remarkable to find the door locked in the morning. In summary, in order to fasten the bolt of a single cabin door on the ship, the culprit brought the entire vessel to an emergency stop in the early hours of the morning.
You have talked long time and said many things. What is point?
The point is what I said earlier. There was somebody else present on the scene when the victim lost his life last night. Someone who left a message in Russian on the floor in an attempt to incriminate another. Someone who tried desperately to hide the broken fragments of glass that would reveal the culprit's identity. And someone who abused the ship's emergency stop procedure in order to lock the door. All told, a busy night. But... I don't know about any of this. I am just a little girl.
You like to speak with your long English words and explain your clever ideas. But I am sailor, and sailors don't listen to long, boring stories. We don't believe. Sailors like me, we trust only what we see with our eyes.
A laudable trait.
What?
I'm quite of the same disposition, my good man. Observation to me is everything.
Mr. Nodder.
Oh, yes? Do you hear it? The accusatory cry of guilt on the right. What accusatory cry of guilt? Sorry? You've lost me. Proof of involvement, man. But you can't hear such a call with your ears. No. You must hear it with your eyes. For observation is the basis of all deduction.
What are you talking about?
I believe the time has come. For one final logic and reasoning spectacular to expose the truth. I bet it was him. I bet he was there. So, Mr. Nodder, your assistance, if you please. With what exactly, Mr. Sholmes? With observation, my dear fellow. Just as I said, these two prevaricators, maybe the word is. Observation. If you remember, Mr. Nodder, you know that somebody tried to fabricate evidence, don't we? By tampering with the scene of Mr. Osogi's death. What we're looking for is some trace of evidence that one of these two was there when it happened. Precisely. You're delightfully quick to grasp my meaning. Alright, I'll see what I can see. So we're looking for a trace of evidence that shows someone else was there last night when Kazuma died. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Spaghetti-O. Uh-oh, Pescattios. Seaman Stroganoff, you seem to have quite a large purple stain on the back of your white uniform there.
Yes, I know where the dirt comes from.
So nothing in particular comes to mind about the stain.
What are you trying to say?
It would appear that the significance of this stain has escaped your attention, sir. Allow us to make it plain. It's a very large purple stain on the back of Seaman Stroganoff's uniform, and I think what made it is clear. Indeed it is. So, Mr. Larock, present the evidence that proves it. My pleasure. Alright then, the evidence that proves what that stain on the back of Seaman Stroganoff's uniform really is.
It's the ink. It's this one.
Yes!
Got him. Yes, it's this photograph, and the ink it shows. That's what's caused the stain on your uniform. Ink. A rather unusual color of ink, but... the penny drops, at last. Now you see the significance. The Russian word on the floor next to the victim's body was written in purple ink. And the stain on the back of your uniform is ink of exactly the same color. If the ink had been dry, it couldn't possibly have stained your uniform. Your uniform in that way. My God, I can't read and I can't speak. Which means you must have been present in the cabin in the moments immediately after the ink was spilt.
Alright, yes. It was me. I did it. Everything. I arranged everything in the student's cabin to make it look like wardrobe man did it. Then I pressed button to make Buria do emergency stop and bolt cabin door shut. I did everything so no one would suspect our angel.
Biff. Please, I forgot his name was Biff. Biff Stroganoff.
Don't worry, Angel. Let me do talking. It was after 1 in the morning. I was on duty patrolling passageway. Then our angel came to me. She was white like sheet.
Biff, please, you must help me, she said, in an accent that I sort of don't know.
I went with her. The door to cabin number 1 was open. When I looked inside, I saw student boy on the floor. What happened here?
Please don't tell anyone. My little one. My little furry friend.
Everything that happened in the cabin is like Angel told you.
The kitten escaped through the ventilator to Mr. Asobi's cabin. Then he tripped over and broke his neck when he fell onto the floor. That sucks.
Yes, that is right.
So after the incident, when the cat ran away, Miss Pavlova then visited the cabin next to hers, only to find its occupant lying lifeless on the floor.
She said she was worried. She heard sound of something falling on the floor. That's when she went to look. No, Angel. The door was not locked, so she opened to look. You already know what happened after.
There's just one thing, if you would.
What?
When you went to Mr. Asobi's cabin, Miss Pavlova, was he already dead? Why?
I already told you. When Nina opened door of student's cabin and looked inside,
I was asking Miss Pavlova. Well, Miss Pavlova? Yeah. Oh. Yes, that is right. I saw him. It was dark and he was wearing black, but he was on the floor, not moving. I was scared. I understand. And I believe you. So, is that finally it now? Have we discovered the real truth about Kazuma's death at last? Ah, something very nearly slipped my mind. Oh, Mr. Sholmes? This photograph. Yes, I took it myself, you know. The cause of death was a broken neck. Therefore, the victim died instantly. And the unfortunate incident that perpetuated these events, a kitten on which the victim stumbled. However, if those are the facts, there is one particular area in this photograph that seems to me somewhat unnatural.
What do you mean, unnatural?
What are your thoughts on this matter, Mr. Larock? Oh, well... If Kazuma tripped and fell, and by some terrible stroke of luck broke his neck, which part of this photographic print seems unnatural? Well, here's the thing. If he broke his neck, why? I guess landing forward? Because here's what I was thinking about earlier. The swipe of his foot. I guess it's weird. So maybe he fell back like that, and then somebody flipped him over? What's your idea? Because it was a spine injury. He would have had to have hit his back. The top fist? Why? Unnatural that his fist is closed? I guess.
Yes!
Oh, I guess. Alright, if he really fell due to an unfortunate accident, then this fist just doesn't seem right. Yeah. The exact same thought occurred to me. In a fall, one's instinct is to open the palms flat. Ah, I guess, yeah, you're right. Yet here we see the victim with his left hand tightly balled into a fist. Almost, you might say. As though he were gripping something.
What do you mean?
Simply that I took the liberty of investigating the victim's fist a short while ago. You did? And what, pray, do you imagine I found there, my dear fellow? Mr. Sholmes, show us, please. Why, of course, my dear madam. Would I keep you in suspense? This is what I found. Is that the bell that's inside? The bell? Is it like the chime in the bell? Oh, a crescent moon with a little gemstone in the middle? Yes, you're right. A crescent moon. It's very pretty. What does it tell us?
It tells us nothing.
I'm not so sure. That crescent moon looks familiar somehow. I'm sure I've seen it somewhere before. Oh, wait. No, it's not the crown. Where have I seen it before? Oh, him. Where have I seen it before? I haven't seen it anywhere. Nothing in there. It's not on the crown. It's not an earring.
Not on any of you. Where have I seen it before? I don't even remember it.
Observation, Mr. Naruto. This is the key.
What?
The truth is now tantalizingly close.
How did that crescent moon come to be in Kazuma's clenched fist?
This is the final clue, the last piece of the puzzle. Ask yourself, what does this little crescent moon mean? What significance has it? Observe. Find the answer with your own eyes.
I don't know. What the... Oh, her earring. Oh, I guess I have some. She has such petite ears among that beautiful hair. Little pink shells. Oh, what's that? There's something attached to her ear. Ah, I expect that's what's called an earring. It's a little piece of jewelry. Earring, is it? It really is tiny. Perhaps part of it is missing. Maybe it broke off. So now all that's left is the clasp part that attaches to the ear. If that's the case, she doesn't appear to have noticed that it's broken. Ah, okay. Yeah, because I bet if I look over... Yeah, alright. I didn't notice that she was wearing these earrings.
Yes!
For some reason. I don't know why I didn't. Miss Pavlova, I noticed that on your right ear. Even though you have a metal earring, the decorative part of it seems to be missing. The little link holding it on must have broken, I suppose. And done. Looking at your other ear, I notice a crescent moon.
Ah, I don't believe it.
Now, the missing crescent moon was found in the victim's clenched fist. Clearly, there's only one logical conclusion. Would you agree, Mr. Larock? Yes. Miss Pavlova, Mr. Osogi must have grasped that crescent moon and pulled it from your ear. Perhaps just moments before he fell to the floor. In other words, last night, in Mr. Osogi's cabin, you witnessed the moment when the victim fell with your own eyes. In fact, you were quite literally at arm's length. But then the question is, why did Mr. Osogi do that? Why did he pull your earring from your ear and hold it in his clenched fist during his final moments? Oh no. Angel. No one can protect you now. Please, Miss Pavlova, tell us the truth. Last night, what did you do to Kazuma? Uh-oh, Spaghetti-O. When I think about everything that happened yesterday, it was too much. Running away, the fishing boat in the middle of the night, trying to climb onto this huge ship. And then, when I was at last in this cabin and I could relax after this horrible long day. I took a perfectly good ballerina and gave her horrible anxiety. I sure did. I couldn't believe it when she disappeared through the ventilator. I tried to call her with a little whistle. I tried waving her favorite toy, but nothing worked. Darko would not come back.
What are you doing here at this time of night, Inspector? Oh. Sorry. I thought it was a friend of mine.
The young man from your country, he was very polite and kind. He helped me to find Darka and promised not to tell anyone. But then, when I had my friend in my arms again, and I was going to leave the man's cabin...
Just a moment. Sorry, but...
Oh,
yes?
I'm sure I know your face. I've seen you somewhere before.
Uh,
Oh, of course. You're Nikolina Pavlova, aren't you? The Russian ballerina.
huh? No, I don't know that name. My heart nearly stopped when he said that. He knew who I was. How could this man from a land in the faraway east know a Russian ballerina?
Yes, I saw your performance in Japan. The beauty of the ballet made a deep impression on me. But what are you doing on this ship? I'm sure I read that your ballet company is performing in Shanghai at the moment.
I can't fool him. I have to tell the truth, and hope he doesn't tell me. I have no other choice.
I see. So you've run away.
Please keep my secret. Don't tell anyone.
Give me a moment. I could use another opinion.
He's going to pull that cord. He's going to call the captain. Why did they think I could trust him? Then it happened. Everything at once. It was only a second, but it felt like forever. Wait, I shouted, and then Darka jumped out of my arms and down to the young man's feet, and as he turned around to look at me, I pushed him.
Oh, and he hit his head on the corner of the bed.
I don't even know why. I don't know why I did it. I was just so scared. And I had to stop him from telling anyone about me.
So you killed a man!
And that's when you went to fetch help. From Seaman Stroganoff, who was on duty out in the passageway.
I heard Nina cry out and thud on the floor, so I ran to her. She was standing at the cabin door, shaking and relief. She looked at me and said, "Help me, Biff. If they find out, I will die. Please, I have nowhere to go."
So you decided to help. And that's when you arranged things in Kazuma's cabin to make it look like I did. So that no one would suspect the passenger in the cabin next door.
Yes, I went into the cabin and looked around to make sure there was nothing to show Nina was there. And then I found Stowaway in the wardrobe, still sleeping.
Right, that's when he found me. So you worked out a plan to lay the blame on the stowaway.
I closed the wardrobe doors and put back strange paper signs.
Luckily for me, that's the only reason Susato-san started to believe me when I said I was innocent.
I dragged the young man's body to a good place and used ink that was spilling to write on the floor. I wrote "Order," so that the person who found him would look inside the wardrobe and find Stowaway.
And tell me, what of the glass bell? It was by my feet, so I picked it up.
I see.
But it was dark in the cabin. I didn't notice the other half.
Then Angel went back to her cabin and I finished the job.
Like pressing the emergency alarm button in the passageway?
Yes.
Accordingly, the SS Moria did indeed come to an emergency halt at a little after 2 a.m. Thus, enticing the bolt on the cabin door to slide shut, creating the locked room mystery.
This is really terrible. I kind of hate this.
There's still one thing I don't understand, Miss Pavlova. What? Well, you said that you told Kazuma about the fact that you'd run away from your homeland. And it's because you were worried he was going to tell the captain that you pushed him. Isn't that right? Yes. But even if he had pulled the bell cord and called for the captain of the ship, aren't you friends with every member of the crew? Why would that have been a problem? It was what he said first that made me scared. What he said first? Oh. What are you doing here at this time of night, Inspector? Got it. Got it, okay. I thought it was a friend of mine. He said that the Inspector was his friend. Yes, meaning me. Who was supposed to be acting as his bodyguard. I thought that if the police knew about me, they would arrest me. So before he could pull the bell cord, I... May I stop you a moment, please, Miss Pavlova? It just doesn't seem to make sense. I mean, was Mr. Isogi really going to pull the bell cord? I don't know. What? What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, I'm not Kazuma, so I can't know for certain. But... he was a man of his word. If he told you he wouldn't give your secret away, then he wouldn't have done. No, he was walking over to it. He was going to pull the cord. He was going to make them send me back. Well, Mr. Naga, the day's work is not yet done, it seems. There is one more deduction to make. What, another deduction? Yes. What action was the victim really about to take at that moment? Can we determine whether the young man's gaze was directed? It wasn't me! First, consider the victim's location within his cabin. That's easy. I remember every detail of that room. I mean, yes, I spent quite a lot of the time in the wardrobe, but still, that cabin has been my home for this entire voyage. So this is how the cabin looked last night as Pavlova visited Cosmos. Yes, that's exactly how it was. Are you ready then, Mr. Naga? Yes. If there's one thing I've learned today, it's that a simple gaze can reveal all manner of truths. Your Honor, he's gay. And not only that, in order to draw the right conclusion, you can't afford to be out, by even a little bit when you're following the gaze to where it lands. So where he turned away from Miss Pavlova, what exactly was Kazuma looking for? Me.
Take that!
Considering everything that had happened last night, certainly it may have looked as though Kazuma was going to ring the bell cord. Yes, however, what is directly beside the bell cord? The wardrobe. The wardrobe? And more importantly, what was inside the wardrobe? The man's great friend, sleeping soundly. Miss Pavlova, please, think back very carefully. What were Mr. Isogi's exact words last night? Give me a moment. I could use another opinion here. Another opinion? Yes, but not from a member of the crew. No, Mr. Isogi intended to consult his close friend on the matter. To see if, between them, they might be able to help in some way, no doubt. Oh no. Sadly, we can't know the truth for certain now. It's too late for me. But I wish you had made sure of what Mr. Isogi was looking for. Things may have ended very differently, if you had. Damn! Miss Pavlova, I want to thank you for finally admitting the truth. But unfortunately, the truth is, a man lost his life because of what you did. And that will never change. I hope you'll never forget that. I'm sorry. Really, I'm so sorry. What have I done?
Oh, well, shit.
Well, I'm sorry. I can't help you.
So at long last, the mystery surrounding the tragic accident on the SS Borea was finally laid to rest. Fraggle. 9th of January, 7:14 p.m., SS Borea. First class cabin passenger. What will happen to Miss Pavlova now? Once we reach Great Britain, she'll be handed over to the British police in Scotland Yard. What about the fact that she ran away from Russia? Won't the Russians try to repatriate? Oh, repatriate! Oh my god, words. Apparently, the English detective can speak to the immigration office and sort that all out. Mr. Sholmes can do that? So she won't be going back to Russia then? No, I don't think so. Even if she wanted to return to the future, or in the future, I doubt she would be able to. She ran away, so now she's in exile for life. I see. I'm sorry. See what Stroganoff? I wanted to help Rachel, no matter what. But I didn't think about you. About how you lost a good friend. I will go with them. I will give myself to British police. It's kind of you. In the meantime, thank you for letting me go free. Kazuma's death feels like such a waste. But, well, do what you can for Miss Pavlova, won't you? Well, I'm afraid you need to pack now. We're due to arrive in Hong Kong tomorrow. As much as it pains me, I'm going to have to hand you over to the consul to arrange your passage back to Japan. Yes. I did stow away after all. I couldn't really expect any different. So, you should get back to your cabin now. Well, shit. I want to be a funky little lawyer. Looks like my study tour to Great Britain is over before it's even begun then. To think that only days ago, Kazuma and I were laughing together about how we'd tear up the streets of London. That seems like a distant memory now. Oh, what's that? Is it someone weeping? Oh no! Susato! Susato-san? Naruhodo-san, I didn't know you had returned. Oh, well, I haven't been back long. Inspector Hosonaga just told me I should pack, you know, ready to leave the ship tomorrow and all that. Oh, Susato! No, my angel baby! Oh, no. I still can't believe this has happened. I can't believe someone's life can be over just like that. Susato-san. Well, shit. Fuck, that's terrible. He had such grand ideas for this visit to Great Britain. So many dreams. And now they've been cruelly taken away, just as he has. I thought I could never forgive the person responsible. But now we know the truth. That it was just an accident. Just a silly series of mishaps. It's too much, Naruhodo-san. It's just too much. Yes, I know. I wish there was something I could say. Inspector, my duty was to see Asogi-san safely to Great Britain. But I failed, and caused his two closest friends great pain and suffering as a result. I've let everyone down. And I will do anything to make up for my terrible blunder. Nobody blames you, Inspector. And I'm free again now. Huh?
fuck is wrong with you? Surprise, Mr. Naruto. What is the meaning of this? Oh, it's trifling matter. Simply that in my head, I think I shall always picture you wearing those shackles. Without them, the balance seems all wrong. It's distracting. Sorry? So I decided to restore them. For old time's sake, shall we say. You are a stowaway, after all. He thinks this is funny. You idiot. Take them off. Mr. Sholmes? We do appreciate all your assistance. I'd like to thank you, from the bottom of my heart. Not at all, not at all. I know it's a little late. May I offer my sincere condolences? The loss of your companion is truly heartrending. Heartrending. I can't read. I hope that you'll be able to fulfill some of his aspirations in his honor. I'm afraid that won't be possible. We shall be disembarking at the next port, in Hong Kong. We have to return to Japan and make a full report about everything that's happened. What? Wait a minute! It's just me that has to go back, isn't it? I mean, I was a stowaway. The terms of this study tour were negotiated by the Department of Justice in both Great Britain and Japan. It was to be one lawyer and one assistant. Was to be. In the light of Mr. Asogi's unfortunate death, I'm afraid the study tour can no longer go ahead. Oh, no. I don't care for me, but... Poor Susato-san. My dear fellows, the majority of problems have an extremely simple solution, you know. All you require is one lawyer, and the study tour can continue, surely. But there is no one else with the necessary qualifications, Mr. Sholmes. We know of no other lawyer. Qualifications, you say? Any qualifications obtained in your own country will be of little value in Great Britain, I'm afraid. Oh, but anyway, the voyage to London still promises a good month of time. Ample opportunity, I would say, to find yourselves another suitable lawyer. Yes. Miss Susato? Yes? Do you think perhaps I might be able to do it? But you're not a lawyer, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, unless... Are you studying law? No, I'm not, but... I'm sorry. In that case, I don't think there's even a chance it could work. But as I said, there's still more than a month before we reach England's shores. Isn't that right, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, I have a month in which to study, to learn what I must to become a lawyer in Great Britain. Mr. Naruhodo? That's ridiculous. Are you seriously suggesting anybody could learn all of that in just 40 days? There's only one way to find out. I would work my fingers to the bone, Inspector. Every single day. Will you let me try? And if, by the time we reach Great Britain, I haven't learned enough to be recognized as a lawyer, I'll take whatever punishment is deemed appropriate. But why put yourself in such a difficult position? For Kazuma, he said that there was something he had to do in Great Britain, and that he would sacrifice anything to make it happen. He was passionate about it. I can't let all that passion just come to nothing. And anyway, it's for my own benefit, too. I will become a lawyer. I have to. What do you say, Miss Susato? I think it's a wonderful idea. Thank you. So, what does our bespectacled Inspector friend say? Are you serious? What lawyer and 1 assistant. The numbers are indisputable. No, it's madness. Yet fascinating, wouldn't you agree? Fascinating. Duty and rules, the dull routine of existence are beyond the ball. Give us interest, give us fascination. Speak for yourself. Besides, qualifications are no measure of man. What matters is his character. And you've witnessed ample evidence of this man's exemplary character today with your own eyes. From the early hours of the morning till his very moment now. Despite contending with the passing of his close companion, and despite the accusation of guilt, this man has shown resourcefulness, intelligence, and above all, courage. Very well. I'll think of a clever way to warn my report to the Department of Justice. Inspector, after all, I did just make a promise, didn't I? I said that I'd do anything at all to make up for my shortcomings here. Oh, thank you, Inspector. If you'll excuse me, I must pay a visit to the captain's quarters. I need to discuss what to do next, and how best to make my report.
I love you.
Are you really prepared to attempt this, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, I'm going to try. I wonder, would you consider teaching me what I need to know? Everything about being a lawyer? I would be delighted to help you. I am a judicial assistant, after all. Thank you. And, Mr. Naruhodo, I'd like you to take charge of this. What? Me? Are you sure? I'm sure it's what Kazuma-sama would have wanted. Its name is Karuma. It's a great sword. It's been in the Asogi clan for generations. Very well. I accept. I'll treasure it always.
Take your boyfriend's funky sword! Oh yeah.
So then, Miss Susato, it seems we'll be working together for some time to come yet. It would be an honor, Mr. Naruhodo. And for the next 40 days, I shan't grant you a single minute of freedom. We shall fill every spare moment with study. Yes, that's exactly what I need! But, before we can begin, I have an earnest favor to ask of you too. Goodness, what is it? Please throw me to the ground. 3 times.
Pardon? What the fuck?
What? I should never have doubted you. You were Kazuma-sama's closest friend. Of course you would never have done anything to hurt him. That should have been obvious to me from the start. But I allowed suspicion to get the better of me. And no matter how upset I was feeling, it was completely unforgivable behavior. No, you were in shock. You just found out about me stowing away. The cabin door was locked from— No! I won't let you make excuses for me. Whatever the circumstances, I should never have thrown you. And not just once, but 5 times! That number keeps creeping up, doesn't it? Please, you must. Just take hold of me and throw me. Do it. Don't even think about it. No. I don't even know how. I've never thrown anyone in my life. Very wise, Mr. Naruhodo. It isn't a skill one acquires without considerable training. Oh, Mr. Schultz. I observed your throwing technique several times with great interest. I confess I was most impressed. When did he see that? I presume that would be a form of Japanese wrestling. Oh, well, in a way, it's not wrestling, but my own interpretation of an ancient jujutsu style, if I can read. Apparently it's called the Susato Takedown. It leaves your head swimming, believe me. How beguiling. I am a practitioner of the combative arts myself. I am a somewhat accomplished boxer. There he goes, dancing around again. I wonder if you'd be so kind as to instruct me on the technique of your arresting throw. Yes, I'd be honored.
And let us not dally. Demonstrate, my dear madam.
Oh, of course. Are you ready, Mr. Naruhodo?
Sorry?
Oh, dear lord.
As you can see, you throw from the abdomen.
Oh, yes, arresting indeed. And that is what you term the Susato takedown, is it?
Actually, no. That was a Susato squash.
She's so cute. I love her.
You have once more been tossed. In my groggy state of consciousness, a scene from an evening recently spent with Kazuma flickered into my mind. Karuma? That's right. It's a prized sword that's been passed down through generations of the Asogi clan. I can't believe you managed to get permission to bring it with you. I mean, taking a katana on a study tour is more than a little irregular, surely. The Japanese man's sword is his soul, Yosuke. I can't be parted from my katana. Karma guides me. I truly believe that. So its name compels its wielder to slice evil in two? Not that you would need much compelling. On that subject, there's something very important that I have to do in Great Britain, and I'll sacrifice anything to make it happen. I'd appreciate you seeing it through with me. Of course I will.
Whatever it is, I'll see it through to the end with you.
I knew you would, Dad. That important thing he had to do. I still don't know what that was. But I'm going to see the place for myself and work it out. In Great Britain's capital, London.
Oh boy. We're going to London. Gonna be a lawyer. Sweet. Achievement. Yes, I would like to save. Cool. The Adventure of the Runaway Room. Episode 3. I know, I also miss Kazuma. He's great. I love him. He's so good. But we're gonna have to save episode 3 and the start of this next investigation for the next time we play. I don't know if that's gonna be Friday or next week or whatever. Or no, it's not gonna be Friday. It's not gonna be Friday. It's gonna be next week. Because Aylmere is this Friday. We changed it from Tuesday to Friday because of Wi-Fi stuff, and everyone was feeling a little sick, and people out west had guests over, so the Wi-Fi would have been really super spotty. So that's going to be tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Friday. What day is it today? Where am I? What is happening? Who are we? It's happening on Friday. We're playing on Friday. And let me just do this. We're playing on Friday. Running it on Friday. If everything works out and if time allows, I think Friday's going to be either the last session or the second to last session of Aylmere. I'm not sure. It all depends on what we can get accomplished in that time. I'm going to take tomorrow and Friday to kind of time it out and see what I got and see what we can get to. There are a few story elements that still need to be wrapped up, a few characters that people still need to kind of talk to, that they've kind of started talking to and need to kind of finish all of that. A great time. So we're doing that this coming Friday. So come along and experience that. It's going to be a good time. And then next week we'll see if it's the last session or if it's our Q&A. I don't know. It all depends on Friday. And then from there, Monday and Wednesday, I don't even know time anymore. Wednesday I might be taking the day off for all of this Twitch debacle stuff that's going on. So I might do that. We'll get there. So Monday and Friday for sure, we'll be doing this again, and then we might do God of War on another day. So get a little bit of both going, a little bit of the goods going. Um, but yeah, that's all the update stuff that I have really. Nothing else. Um, yeah. So it's 11:41. We went a little bit over time, but I'm gonna be the dad here and remind you to take breaks. It doesn't matter if it's for like an hour. Doesn't matter if it's for a couple days. Doesn't matter if it's for like a couple minutes. Make sure you take breaks or you kind of build breaks into your daily stuff. If it's a lunch break, do something relaxing. Go sit outside. Go kick your feet up. Take a 10-minute nap. Like do something that kind of distances you from your work. Because I had a weird crash the last couple of days with this vertigo situation, and that wasn't fun. So it forced me to take a break. And I mean, I didn't feel great, but having a break was really helpful. Um, it was good. I mean, it wasn't good, but it was good. It was something that I needed. I needed a break. So having that break was very helpful, at least a little bit. So yeah, there's that. Also, another update that I just remembered now. Um, I'm starting to promote things on separate website-y things for people to support me in any way that you guys want to. Um, like donations are great. Subscriptions, if you don't want to subscribe through Twitch because of all the don't sub on Twitch thing anymore. There are ways to subscribe on those websites, and I'm working on putting together additional content that if you do subscribe to any of those things, that you'll be able to access. I'll also have things like I enjoy polls on Twitter to have people kind of interact with me to see what they want to do, what they want to see, what they think would be fun. So I'm definitely going to try and do more of that on these different websites, as well as things like specialty streams, which we're doing the one chip challenge later in October, which is going to be a mess. But there's stuff like that, so have ideas for specialty streams that we can kind of have as goals to raise money for. Do things like Twitch overlay commissions for subscribers. Things like audition bloopers, which would be really funny. Things like tutorials to do different things, like make things on Photoshop, how to, like set up Streamlabs, answer questions, and like have AMAs about like how do you do this, how do you do that, like advice for voice acting, or advice for film and video, advice for streaming, advice for just little things, because I have a lot of different random skill sets that I can provide stuff for. I'm also looking at possibly doing monthly short fiction. Unfortunately, it would probably be 18 plus, but if anybody is down for monthly like short stories and stuff like that, I had an idea that I posited on one of my Twitter accounts that is pretty interesting. Like I think the idea is pretty cool. So I'm gonna look at trying to figure out how to do that too. But like there are tons of different ways to support, and all those links on my in my about section underneath, I guess. And it's now pinned to my Twitter account, so you can find all of that stuff there, as well as my card that has all my resume stuff for projects and places you can find weird shit that I've done, and links to things and all that. It's all over there. You can find it everywhere. But definitely, if you have the means to and are thinking of supporting at all, that would be greatly appreciated. And it means a lot to be able to do the things that I like doing. I know that I can do it and people enjoy it. So that's just a little thingy thing. So that is my little spiel for end of stream stuff, and I'll probably be rehearsing it and re-saying it in easier ways and shorter ways in the future for future streams, but that's just like a general thing. So I'm gonna let everybody go for the night. I don't want to keep you too late. So love yourself, because I do. Peace out, and have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday night and Thursday, because I don't stream tomorrow. So have a good Thursday, and I will see you on Friday over at the Thesperians Twitch channel for another morning in Ailmere D&D stuff. So it's gonna be a good time. I will see you there. So good night, everybody. Bye bye.